بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فضله الشيخ اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علمك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We have our second session on Hadith of Imam Kumayl. And for those who are not here and watch only the lecture, I would like to say that we had a very good discussion. We listened to the comments of the participants about what are the signs of large capacity of the heart. And this was about the phrase that we had yesterday, إِنَّ هَذِهِ الْقُلُوبَ أَوْقِيَةٌ فَخَيْرُهَا أَوْقَاهَا. Truly these hearts are containers. The best of them are those who can contain more in the sense of quantity and quality, to contain more and better. Alhamdulillah, you made very good points and I wrote many things. I will try to put them together and give an account of what is large capacity of the heart, but the discussion remains open. So we can continue maybe this retreat or another time, because I think this is a very important discussion. It's not something theoretical only, it's something that can immediately have impact on us. Human beings, when it comes to their bodies, have differences. The height can be different, the weight can be different, the color can be different. But still, they are very similar. Our physical differences are not that much. It's like differences between individuals of the same category. But when it comes to our spirit, our differences are much, much more, to the extent that some people can be human beings and some people can be lower than human beings. Some people can be, in a sense, like higher than ordinary human beings. So we can start from أُولَٰئِكَ الْأَنْعَامُ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ up to people who are like angels. And when a human being becomes like angels, it's higher than angels because they could go to the right direction. So when it comes to our spirit, to our heart, the differences are much, much more. Maybe you don't find two people exactly the same. Maybe you find people from the same family very much different. One is very high, one can be very low. So this is very important one. One of the places, or maybe the most important place, where differences of human beings can be witnessed is their hearts. You can judge about people only when you know what is happening in their hearts. You cannot judge by looking at their body. For example, are they in masjid, or for example in a temple, in a place of worship, in a shrine, or in a, for example, bad place. This cannot show whether this person is a good person or not. Maybe a bad person goes to a holy place. Maybe a good person sometimes goes to a bad place to guide people, for example. You cannot judge by looking at where that person is located. You cannot judge based on what that person is doing. You cannot judge by seeing who are his associates, because maybe a bad person, a munafiq, can go into the circles of good people, or a good person goes to the circle of bad people to help them. The only way to be able to judge about quality of a person is heart. And this is why no one other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can judge about people, because we don't have access to the heart of people in the way that we can be sure. What is in the heart can manifest itself on the tongue, on the eyes, on the actions, but still we cannot be 100% sure, because some people can be so good in deceiving others. Or we can make mistakes. Maybe this person is a good person, but for some reason we think he's a bad person. So we cannot be sure. The only one who can judge is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is aware of what is going on in the heart. To the extent that the Quran says He can stand between you and your heart. يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. So He can know, and He actually knows more about your heart than yourself. Okay? So heart is where Iman, Kufr, Nifaq, all the virtues, all the vices lie. So heart is very, very important. Is the most important thing of every person is the heart. Of course, heart has different aspects and different functions. So what today we were focused on was capacity of the heart. One of the things that human beings are different from each other is how much capacity their heart has. Because it is not similar for everyone, it's not fixed. Two people can have different capacities. Or even one person in different times can have different capacity. So it's not fixed how much each of us has, and also it's not fixed in the sense that you cannot increase or lose. Okay? So every person can be given something to begin with, but you can work on it and build more capacity. But it's very important. It's so important that someone like Musa alayhi salam, who is chosen by Allah for a mission, Right at the beginning of his list of requests, he said, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. It means it's very important to have large capacity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions as one of these favors upon the Prophet, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرَكَ. So this is very important. You can say it's very much determining your function, how much capacity you have. The same task, the same difficulties, or the same ni'mah can bring two different reactions based on the capacity. For example, even ni'mah. Sometimes I have little capacity. As soon as I get, a large sum of money, I become proud. But another person is a billionaire, but he's not changed. So capacity is not only when you are tested with calamities and difficulties. Some person loses his patience when loses one dear one, someone does not. It can be when you are in the time of difficulties or in the time of ease. فَالسَّرَّاءِ وَالزَّرَّاءِ. Different capacities can show themselves. So, it's a very important thing. I believe that human beings have unlimited capacity. Sometimes I say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinite, and among his creatures, human beings have one infinite aspect. And that is, they are infinite in their capacity. We are not actually infinite, we are finite. Allah is actually infinite. We are in our potentiality unlimited. It's very important. So for example, when it comes to knowledge, what we know is limited. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. But we can learn to the extent that Allah says to the Prophet, وَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا, which is about ilm. And even the Prophet who was taught by Allah can say, رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. So there is no limit in what you can learn. So we are sharing one common, among other things, one common thing, and that is to have one unlimited aspect. And that is unlimited in potentiality. There is no way that a person says, I reached end of what humanity can achieve, or I have reached end of what humanity can lose. There is always chance to go further. Even when it comes to the, for example, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as I said, Allah says, قُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, or we say, وَارْفَعْ دَرَجَتَهُ. There is a possibility of his rank being raised. Okay. Now, what is that unlimited capacity for? Why we need unlimited capacity? because nothing is to be wasted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very wise and efficient. He would not create capacity which is never needed. Why we need unlimited capacity? Imagine you are going to make a mosque, and you need 50 people, for example, to accommodate, or 100 people, or 500 people. But if you know that throughout the year, in the next few years, you can only accommodate, for example, 500 people, you don't make a hall for 5,000 people. Yeah? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given human beings unlimited potentials or unlimited capacity in their hearts? Question for tomorrow? Or today? Maybe I say it, then we can expand. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants our heart to be able to contain Him. Al-qalbu haramullah. And our heart is the sanctuary of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا تسكن حرم الله غير الله. Don't let anything other than Allah settle in the sanctuary of Allah. So, for us to be able to move towards the absolute perfection, unlimited perfection, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for us to be Khalifatullah, we need this capacity. I don't want to talk about the story of Adam and angel and the issue of why Allah proved the qualification of Adam by Allama Adam al-Asma'a kullaha. We don't have time, but you can think about it. So, we have unlimited potential, but there is a difference between potentials and built capacity. Sometimes you have lots of potentials, but you have not utilized your potentials, therefore you are very small still. For example, I can become a great alim, and there is no limit in what I can learn. But if I have not embarked on this journey, and I have not worked hard, so that potentiality just remains as potentiality. It's like someone who can make a very huge house but has not made it. Okay? So there is potentiality which Allah has given to everyone in an unlimited way, and there is capacity which is different from potentiality. Capacity is how much of that potentiality you have cashed. Like how large you have made your storage. Although it is a storage, it's not filled, but it's built. You have used the space to build the storage. Okay? So, here people are very different. Some people have built more capacity, some people have not built capacity. And also sometimes there can be external factors. Maybe some people even by birth, they are very patient, they are very, generous, by the upbringing. In Akhlaq we discuss this. But in the process, everything is under your control. You can always become better than what you have been born with, or worse than what you have been born with or brought up with. So, if a heart has managed to be with built capacity, what are the signs so that we can work on them? Alhamdulillah, you mentioned very important and beautiful points. One of the things that make heart enjoy larger capacity, as you said, is humility. Although it may look contradiction, because humility means you look at yourself as something small, or people who are proud and arrogant, they think they are great, sometimes they think they are greatest people in the world. Fir'aun said, Ana rabbukum al-a'la, I am your highest Lord. But we believe Fir'aun has, from this perspective, less capacity than someone who can be in the same position but remains humble. Because ghurur, pride and arrogance is actually the sign of overflowing. If you had large capacity, you would not have reached the point of ghurur, because ghurur means you are not able to cope with this. Like you have a container which contains 1 liter and you put 2 liters, so it overflows. If someone is given high position, maybe a person becomes marja and remains humble. Another person becomes just imam of a masjid and becomes arrogant. So, humbleness is a very important, not only sign, but also factor, because sometimes something is a sign, but not a factor. It's not building. But humility is a sign and also builds capacity. And here we can have a good discussion sometime in the future. Why humility creates capacity. Briefly, because humility helps you connect better to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything which is related to God, when it comes to heart, expand your heart. Sometimes, this example I think is very useful. Imagine I invite a guest who has a large family, and I am worried. How can I accommodate all of them in my home? Okay? If you have a large family of guests, you are worried. Because I have only 2 rooms, for example, for my family and my guests, How can I accommodate them? And I don't want my guests to be troubled. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a guest that has very large family. Okay? Large associates. It's like a simple person who wants to invite the king of the world, and he comes with millions. But the good thing is, if the king accepts your invitation by coming to your home, will make your home a palace. That's the thing. By inviting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to our heart, you don't need to worry about capacity. Just be worried about your sincerity of invitation. If the invitation is accepted, he comes and fixes everything. And on the opposite, there are things and objects that if you invite them to your heart, they will come and make your home very small. If money comes to the heart, you used to have 3 bedrooms, now it becomes just a little space under a staircase. You have to live in that little space. I used to have a large home. What happened? What this guest did to me? Sometimes even you don't notice. I used to be very kind, very caring person. After I became rich, I have become, so jealous and miserly and cruel. This is the problem of inviting this guest and letting this guest to come to your heart. So when Allah comes, it expands our hearts. Anything which is not from Allah, I mean in the sense that is not godly, when it comes, it narrows and shortens our hearts. This is very important. How can you invite Allah to your home, to your heart? Again, it's a very good topic to discuss. Sometimes you invite Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to your heart by doing good things. And like for example, the king says, we want to visit this person because he has given a great service. So everyone works hard to do some great service because they also want to be visited by the king. This person has been very kind to his parents or children or husband or wife or neighbor or poor. So these are the things that can invite Allah to your heart. But sometimes you are in troubles, and then the king says we have to visit him. And that is when people are suffering. When you are suffering, also the king comes to visit you. We have a beautiful hadith Qudsi. أَنَا عِنْدَ الْمُنْكَسِرَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ. I am with the people whose hearts are broken. If people break your heart, or if musibah breaks your heart, tragedies happen, that's the time that you can be very hopeful that Allah comes to your heart and visits you. Nothing like musibah and suffering can expand the heart and be welcoming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I remember once we had a program for celebration of the Prophet in London, and was a unity program. It was in a Sunni mosque, and our Sunni brothers were the hosts, and we had Shia Sunni speakers. So during the question and answer, someone asked me about suffering. The discussion was about Rahmah and the Prophet. So someone asked about suffering. And I mentioned this point. I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to our hearts. But He is so great that with our small hearts we cannot contain Him. We need to expand our heart. But sometimes the container to be expanded needs to be broken, because the object is too big, and if it wants to remain as it is, it cannot. You have to break it, and then later it will heal itself. So it was 1 liter, it was broken, became 2 liters. But then another tragedy happens, and then it becomes 4 liters. So sometimes you wonder, am I the same person? If I was the same person, I could not cope with this suffering. You know, sometimes you have one ill person in the home, you think you cannot cope with it. You are stretched, you know, you are somehow broken. But then, after some time, alhamdulillah, you're okay. Then the next thing can happen. Because you have to grow, you have to expand. So, أَنَا عِنْدَ الْمُنْكَسِرَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ. So sometimes the king comes to visit you because you have done a great service, or you have made a beautiful home. He wants to visit you, and sometimes he wants to visit you because you are suffering, and he's very kind. But the big thing is, no matter whether he comes for your a'mal salih or good qualities or for your suffering, when he comes, he changes your home. Your home will be different. He renovates and expands your home. This is very important. So, humility, patience. Patience is very, very important sign of large heart. Those who are patient are like ocean. Nothing can easily make them angry, make them lose their control over their words, over their actions, over their decisions. People who are not patient, they lose control. They can say things that later they regret. They can do things that they regret. They can make decisions which are not good. But people who are patient are like an ocean. You cannot easily affect an ocean. If it's a cup of water, you can blow and the water comes out. But an ocean is stable. Patience is a very important sign of large capacity. And part of the patience is hilm. Some of you mentioned. Hilm is patience with respect to the things that people do when they wrong you. Someone says a bad word to me or about me. Someone does bad action to me. Hilm means forbearance, means I don't become too reactionary. إذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلام. This is hilm. Your student, your children, your parents, your neighbor, sometimes they do something wrong. Hilm is to be able to cope with this and remain patient. remain kind, remain wise. Not that something triggers our anger and we lose our control. And when we lose our control, we become a self-destructive machine. We destroy ourselves and we destroy relations. Heaven is very important. Alhamdulillah, you mentioned many other good things, and I think if I want to discuss all of them, it takes hours. But I mentioned one point, and then we close this discussion for the time being. One important sign of capacity of the heart is how capable you are in keeping secrets. You know, we have the tendency of inquiring about everything. We are very curious by nature. And this is good in itself, but you have to regulate it. Because sometimes you want to know things which you should not know. Yeah? لا تسألوا عن أشياء تبدأ لكم تسؤكم. Don't ask about things that if they are disclosed to you, they will annoy you. So we have tendency for understanding, learning everything. This is good by itself, but we have to regulate it. Also, we have tendency of sharing whatever we know, which is by itself again good, but you have to regulate it. One of the things that needs great exercise of patience is to keep secrets. Sometimes a person has done something, for example, bad to me. Am I able to keep it? Or I'm going to tell everyone? One point. Another thing, am I able to not only not to tell everyone, even not to tell him or her? For example, my, I don't know, friend has done something wrong to me. I have been told that, for example, he said something bad about me. He made something wrong to me, whatever. Am I able to keep this with me for the right time to come? Many times between husband and wife, things happen, and they immediately mention it. So someone is angry, does something wrong, and then the other party at the same time that when he's angry says, you know, why you said this? Many times it's better to not say anything at that time. Later, if needed, if it is something small, forget it. If it is something major, wait for a good time to come. Sometimes you need to wait a few hours, sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, sometimes maybe a few years. Am I able to keep something in my heart for a few years? Or it can be something about secrets of people. I am an alim, I am a doctor, I am a lawyer, I am an accountant. I know some secrets of people. Am I able to keep it or not? And sometimes we have secrets of our mazhab. Sometimes we have secrets of our community. Not bad secrets, good secrets. You know, there are bank accounts, for example, of our community. There are bank accounts of the treasures of Ahlul Bayt. Are we going to disclose all these? in that beautiful hadith that I have sometimes mentioned in my lectures, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, ليس من احتمال أمرنا القبول والتصديق وحسب. Something like this, maybe slightly the wording is different, maybe it's the same. To carry our affair is not just a matter of accepting and affirming it. بل صيانته وكتمانه من غير أهله. Part of it is also to hide it from people who are not supposed to know about it. If you are guardian of a treasure, part of it is to show it to right people, and part of it is to keep it hidden from bad eyes. People who have bad intentions. Are you able? Sometimes you are so passionate that we want to say everything everywhere. But you have to have large heart. I heard this from one of ulama, but I have not myself come across this still in the text, but I didn't search for it. But I heard from one of ulama that one person was asked, why you have not become one of the deputies of Imam Zaman? You know, Imam had in minor occultation 4 deputies, one after the other. Nawada al-Ba'id. So someone asked another Shia who was very high in rank and very respected, why you were not chosen? And he said, I am a person who cannot keep secrets. But this person is the one that even if Imam Zaman is under his cloak, he can keep it secret. This is a sign of large heart. You can tell him, this is my secret, and you are sure even if he is forced, he will not disclose your secret. This is what a movement should be. So, it's not every knowledge necessarily a sign of large capacity. It depends on the type of knowledge, and also sometimes your reaction to the knowledge. Maybe the same knowledge, someone can keep it, someone cannot keep it. Okay, I am very sad that we cannot talk about everything you mentioned. There are lots of beautiful points that you mentioned and we can discuss, but I think it's better not to talk too much. So maybe I stop here, and inshallah we continue our discussion tomorrow. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.